Word on the street. All right, who we got today? Good morning.
Good morning. We have a guest here who's pretty busy out in the woods doing some interesting
In the what woods? Woods
so
are y'all at? Lord have mercy, they in the woods somewhere.
we're at the
Not
border
the big bad wolf, right?
negative. We're actually at the Eli Whitney Museum right now. We're in the
Okay.
trail behind the museum.
Okay.
So,
Then that's not the woods.
well, kind of.
Oh my God, who is that?
Bob, would you mind introducing yourself?
Good morning, audience, wherever you are. I'm Bob Lamont. I'm running around for my morning walk and photography. This is an exciting sight to go watch the migrating birds. And the migration has started now that the weather is warm, and therefore I am here with my best friend, and we are taking
Wow.
photos.
Yeah.
All right.
Is he the guy who was in Central Park that lady called the cops on?
Oh my God.
No, that was my cousin.
Oh no.
Black people are funny.
Can we see
Nora,
your face real fast? Can we just see your face real fast? Just
Nora and Maya asked for the
Yeah,
word
yeah.
on the street.
Oh, you want to show my face on television, huh? You want to have a contract coming up?
We do have to ask you our typical question, which is,
Go
what
ahead.
is the word on the street?
Warblers.
Warblers. Wait, can you tell us a little bit about warblers? Is that
The warblers are the little colorful birds, mostly yellow, that hop around like crazy, hunting for bugs. And they winter in South America, the Caribbean, in Central America, and Southern U.S. And at this time of the year, make their way up to Canada, where they can find tons and tons of bugs and have eggs and babies. So we are lucky here in the East Rock Park. That's one of the best known migratory places for warblers.
Mm.
So this is just the beginning. There's only a trickle of them going through, but sometimes you can find some very rare ones in the beginning of the migration. So
Cool.
once you're having days like this, warm, they'll be flooding this place, and you'll see tons and tons of photography.
Wow. So do you come out here how often do you come out?
I take a morning walk every day, so I'm here every morning for about 2 hours, unless
Wow.
it rains. When it rains, I stay away. So the past couple of days have been good. Tomorrow I'm taking a day off, so maybe today I'll do it twice. I'll walk this morning and maybe late this afternoon.
Wow. Do you do it professionally as well, or is this a hobby?
No, it's kind of a hobby. I'm a retired college professor. I just retired, and I'm going to be writing. One of my passions is bird photography, and I'm doing some kind of research for a book on birds. So
Ooh.
I'm just accumulating
Wow.
information all over the place.
So what did you teach and where?
Oh, I've taught many places. I taught at Noah Community College, where I taught French, English, and math. I've done Haitian Creole at Yale.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of different topics.
Some friends call me a Renaissance man. I don't think I've done all of that.
Wow. So how did you get into bird photography? How did that interest hatch? Like
Bird
an egg.
photography started early for me as a little kid growing up in Haiti. I was impressed by the hummingbirds and the hawks. This kind of big diversity between those two. When I tried to photograph birds, but that was hard. And when I came to school here and got a camera, that was a little easier. But until the digital cameras came out, I was not able to do a lot of photography. So the development of digital cameras really improved the quality, because you can take 600 photos and delete them on the spot and take some 600 more. So it has really improved the the hobby or the profession. And
Mm.
if you notice with COVID, a lot of people have taken up photography. So I see
Mm.
tons and tons of photographers all over the place with
Mm.
giant, expensive cameras, taking all kinds of photos. And I guess Instagram and Facebook are lucky because of that. So,
Did the amount of time that you spend or are able to dedicate to this hobby change with COVID? And
no,
when did
during
you
COVID,
retire?
I retired this January.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
I'm a
congratulations.
young retiree. I'm a rookie retired person. So no, during COVID I did not dare go out. So
Mm.
I did all my teaching online and stuff like that. So now I'm trying to make up for it. I went totally out of shape, put on some weight.
Mhm.
So
Same.
a daily walk and changing my diet is working working well for me. So,
Mm.
and then the beauty is that I get to photograph and I don't think about the 2 hours I walk around.
Mm.
It's
Beautiful. So tell me about the birds that are unique to Connecticut.
Yeah.
unique to Connecticut. Well, depends. They all, I don't know if you call them unique to Connecticut. They would be unique to the Northeast,
Okay.
but they wouldn't be to Connecticut. Let's see, from hawks, you have the red-tailed hawk. Right now, if you look in the sky near any body of water, you'll find ospreys. Those are the fish hunters. They migrate. They have incredible migration. They migrate from the U.S. all the way to Argentina, and then they come back to the same nest they left the year before.
Whoa.
And a lot of times they come at the same day, exact day, like April 2nd. It is just a great,
How?
amazing. They have an amazing schedule. So those are in terms of raptors. We have the bald eagles. We have a lot. Luckily, in the past 10 years, we've had an influx of bald eagles. In 2010, 11, 12, there might have been only one pair of bald eagles in this area. Now there are nesting bald eagles all over the place. So that's a beautiful sight. That's the apex predator in this area. Red-tailed hawks, red-shouldered hawks, Cooper's hawks. You'll find those in different habitats. The ospreys, the peregrine falcons, right in East Rock. We have peregrine falcons nesting. What else? So those would be the hawks. And then you have the typical house birds like the cardinals and blue jays, the blackbirds, the grackles, the red-winged blackbirds, and then all kinds of sparrows. What else? Oh my gosh. How many hours do you have?
Yeah.
My favorites are the birds of prey. And in Connecticut, we only have one hummingbird, which is the ruby-throated hummingbird. So I like to travel out to Arizona where they have 14 different hummingbirds. There, I really get to photograph them. So typically, I would be in Arizona right now, but I have a reunion coming up in June. So I don't want to count how many years, but it's my Yale reunion. So I'm going to decide not to travel and wait till after that. So I'll be traveling out west to photograph raptors and hummingbirds.
Wow.
In Connecticut, it's definitely fun. At this time of the year, the little birds, I knew. It's interesting. I like to tell people, I might as well tell the world now, that the warblers are Haitian birds because they live in Haiti about 9 months out of the year. So growing up, I always saw tons of them all over the place. Very colorful little birds that chirp. And in April and May, they fly up to the States and Canada to have babies. And then they fly back down with their babies. So we always say those are Haitian migrants that come up for the medical care and food up here. and then find their way back home. So they always.
Oh,
do
they
all
need to
the
pay some taxes then. I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
Well, they fly over the wall, so they're fine.
Now, do you belong to a club? Do you belong to the Audubon
Oh,
Society? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna
No,
ask too.
I don't belong to any clubs at this time because I do photography in so many different places. Uh, Typically spring in Connecticut. Summer I don't do in Connecticut. I'm either in Colorado or Arizona or Nevada or Washington State. So I like to travel. Recently I've been driving, which is really fun. I never drove across country.
Is that
Uh,
because of COVID?
Because of COVID, or Florida, I'll probably fly to Florida as a hot place for lots of birds. So it's there's a diversity of places to photograph all kinds of birds. We've been lucky in Connecticut this year. We had snowy owls all winter in Stratford. So I have taken, I would imagine, in January alone, about 5,000 photos of snowy owls.
Wow.
So there's a lot of work going through photos, and so you just download them into the computer, and then at some point, which is usually sometime in the slow days of winter, you pop them out and read through the photos and delete those you don't want. So
Yeah.
it's a fun hobby. It's definitely a good one because it gets you to walk. There are other people who like to sit somewhere and wait for the birds. I don't know. I'd rather walk myself. So
Do you feel like you've accessed any type of community around bird photography, or is it
Yeah.
more you find you're able to access some sense of solitude through this practice?
well, that's a good question. It's a mixture. I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of more knowledgeable people than I am, which makes it fun sometimes. And I've met a lot of young people or rookies, which I call them rookies, starting out with that and who have tons of questions. And as a professor, I like to, as you can see, my 10 minutes has become a half hour. Once you start me talking, I will not stop. So, yes, I enjoy. You meet all kinds of people. One of my best friends is a doctor in Hamden. So he comes out. He gets up much more early than I do now that I'm retired. But he comes out and photographs here, goes all over the state, and also does photography. So you create some kind of little cliques in different areas. So it's a fun process.
Yeah. And where do you live in Hamden also?
I live in Hamden by on the hill behind the mall on Mix Avenue.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So that's up there.
And you came to the area, you were saying, did you originally study at Yale? Is that why you came?
No, I came to the U.S. when I was 13. Came to go to school here. My parents sent me to go to school here and live with my older sister. And I went to school in West Haven at St. Lawrence School. Then went to Notre Dame High School. And then went to Yale. And then Columbia. And then now I'm retired. That's my next thing.
any plans to have an exhibition of your photos of the birds that you've taken?
I have done shows before. I have not done an exhibition because that requires printing and all that stuff, but I've done video presentations and slide presentations and stuff like that, different places. I think I want to do that. I have a cousin in New York who does a lot of landscape photography. He does tremendous landscape all over the country, all over the world. So we've been talking informally about putting together two cousins show of photography, both landscapes and birds and other animals. So that might be something that we'll do. But I've done a lot of that, so it's something now that I have time I can plan to do that I didn't have time before because so busy correcting essays from my students. So it's not. I miss school, but I don't miss teaching. How is that?
And what other walks do you like around the area? What other places could you be found in the morning?
I have not yet
Chicken
this year
stock.
gone up to Sleeping Giant in Hamden.
Mm.
That's a nice walk. I'm trying to kind of get in better shape before I start taking the high terrain.
I couldn't do
It's
that.
also good to go up to the East Rock, to the rock up to the top. That's a nice walk.
Mhm.
Where else do I go? I usually like the best place really that I like to walk is Hammonasset,
Mm.
because you get to ski near the beach. You also have it's a varied terrain, and it's very nice to walk, and it's very expensive in terms of area. So I enjoy that also.
Mm. And do you have any tips for amateur bird watchers or photographers in
Well,
terms of
There are a couple of tips. Know the equipment you're using somewhat. Place yourself in the right direction, and then learn about the bird you want to photograph. If you don't know their habits, you won't be able to guess their next movement, and you may miss a good shot. So it's interesting to know what a bird does before it flies. Birds of prey like to, if I could say that, poop before they take off. So if you see a bird of prey on a branch and it poops, just get ready. You'll have a shot.
Mm.
There are all kinds of things. Warblers are difficult.
Yeah.
They use every branch has a trampoline, and they don't they don't stay anywhere. So you almost you have to expect to take 300 photos and maybe have 50 of them good, the rest of them all blurry because they are so quick. But once you get a good shot, it's very enjoyable.
Mm.
So, but
Yeah.
if you buy a camera, I might have a little to the plug. Get a Canon. Forget the Nikon.
This is a Canon. Why is that? What?
Well, it's like it's this what we had between Yale and Harvard. So. The Canon is the Yale camera. The Nikon is Harvard. So that can tell you exactly what it is.
Equally expensive. That's what I hear.
That's what I heard too.
There's better quality with some of that expense. With one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are a Harvard person, huh? Oh.
So we did make you talk to us for longer than we said we would. But Babs and Harry, any final questions before?
No,
Let 'em go.
do you ever concern yourself with your safety out there? I mean, clearly you are a Black man, and in the recent history, we've heard about Black men being in spaces where other people think they should not be. Do you feel safe, or do you think about safety?
You have to think about safety, but I'm relatively aware of where I am. So I can, if you go on a path, you can always, maybe against dogs that are loose, maybe not, but I feel relatively safe walking around. These are, if I were a woman, I might feel a little more intimidated because sometimes there are no other walkers. But this is a very safe park. I have not heard of issues, at least along the river. The trails are not that hidden. It's fairly wide open ahead and behind. So,
well, you said you travel across the country a lot also. So do you feel like that sense of safety changes in different locations?
yes. There are areas where I don't feel safe. Like in Florida, there are certain areas where I don't feel safe at all because, I remember a few years ago landing in Tampa, and there was right on the highway outside the airport, there was a mammoth Confederate flag flying over the highway. So at first I told my friend, why are they flying the British flag? Because it didn't register at all. And then I realized, and I was shocked. He said, private property. A lot of people have those ideas, and
Mm.
there's nothing the city can do about it. It's your private property, but they express their opinions. So in that case, like in terms of racism and stuff, there are areas where I know if somebody has a Confederate flag in their front porch, I will not back my car into their driveway or something like that to return. So you also have to be aware of where you are. This place is not to really travel. But so far, I must knock on wood, I have not had any incidents or personal incidents in my traveling with photos. On the contrary, I would say most people who are interested in nature are also very modern thinking. So
Interesting.
That's a good, and definitely this park is beautiful. The only thing I wish people wouldn't do is litter. Because that's the one thing that irks me about these people throwing bottles and papers and stuff all over the place. And
Yeah.
there are also, because for every good there's a bad. There are a lot of volunteers who walk around and they don't get paid, but they pick up the litter. So one hand washes the other in a sense. So, yeah. All right. All right. Here's my face.
All right.
There it is. End to that.
Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun. Thank you for making me feel like I'm in class again. Don't do that every day, please.
Oh, and I see it. Is that a hawk? That's is it a
That's
seagull?
Shoot.
I have no idea. But
Look,
okay.
Maya and Nora
Not
out
too
there
bad.
bird watching.
Might
Thank
be
y'all
sad.
so much.
Okay, have a
Alright.
good
All
day.
right, be safe out there. Wow, Harry, I swear we learn something every day with that word on the street.
Wow.
I just found that delightfully refreshing.